Hello, hello. Seems we are live again for this week. Yes, let me know where you're plugging in and say hello. And for those who are watching it on a replay, just, tag me in the replay, in the comments, hashtag replays. And yeah, good to have you plugging in. Today, I want to share a bit of an overview of why now has never been a better time to start this passion project. Why? Because I've been having a couple of conversations, and that's something that is coming back quite a lot as I talk with other multi passionates and curious about where they are at. And usually they always start with this passion project that has been dormant. And I want today to really dive into it and share pretty much as much insights and ways to think about should you start this passion project and why I strongly believe now is the best time to start one. But for those who are new to me, my name is Laura Chrisman. I'm your personal brand coach and side hustle mentor, digital strategist in the corporate world, online solopreneur, as well as French expatriates. I wear all the hats and I help purpose driven professionals turn their multiple interests, creativity, and knowledge into a personal brand that stands out so they can expand their career into multiple income streams. Right, so let's dive in. I'm quite excited about it because here's the question for you, and again, let me know in the comments below if you ever considered starting your own passion project. And by passion project is anything that you feel very, very called into as a way to express yourself, learn a new craft, and have a message, right? You want to share to an audience as a creator or as a freelancer or as a coach, right? It's anything you want to expand on, put your energy on to express yourself more creatively and have that sense of freedom, right? In how you can pretty much do something on your own. And to be fair, it's actually my favorite thing to learn about people. Really, favorite thing in the world when I can discover as I'm talking with someone what their passion project is about. It's not everyone is having a passion project, and I'm not here to tell you you should do one, but if you ever consider one and you're thinking, no, it's too out of the box, I don't have time for that, I want to kind of shift your thinking around it and get to explore a bit more about why now. Now is really game changer if you want to not only start but also expand with your passion projects. And what I say is the my favorite thing in the world when I talk with people is because for me it's when someone starts sharing their passion project, it's pretty much how I can discover what people are dreaming to create. And that's for me a door of how can I access how they express their real self. And that happened in so many different ways, and I always cherish that moment because usually people don't open up with like, hey, what I'm doing, this is my passion project. Usually you need to peel a bit all the layers and actually need to be extra curious because people would just not talk about it. I had those situations at work when one of my colleagues, super analytical and great with numbers, like just quite the magician in that sense. But when you talk to him and what motivates him, you realize when he started talking about how he's been coding his own games, video games on the side on the weekend, he was a complete different person opening up. And it's like now I could sense the drive. I could understand so many different aspects of who he is as a person. And it just, for me, felt so fantastic. It's like, oh wow, that person is so multifaceted. And just all the creativity and the problem solving going on in creating a game from coding it from scratch. I was like so not surprised, but pleased I had the opportunity that he shared that with me, and that just elevated the conversation to a next level. I love as well, I had that conversation with that same at work, someone that shared, you know what, I've always wished to write a book, but how it's been shared is, they're tuning down that dream, that project. It's like, oh, whenever I would have time, I have the kids, the family, and all the life going on. So in another life, I would love to write this book. And when you start asking why, what do you like about writing? It's like, you talking to another person, like you can see the light and the spark. I love it because it's about sharing ideas and inspire other people. And although I'm not changing the world, I mean, you could hear the person completely going in another range of their personality, their aspirations. And that moment for me of when that person unveiled a bit more about themselves, I found it so precious. So something I'm sure about, there are a lot of people out there with passion projects that are not yet out in the world. So I'm calling them the dormant passion projects. Why? Because they're pretty much of disregarded. They're not considered as worth to pursue for different reasons. So if you wonder if this you, and if you ever consider starting your own, and usually when I talk to those people, it's been, oh yeah, I have this podcast ideas for years. So it's not like something they are just having for one moment and then they drop it. It's like they've been planning, actively planning. The creative brain has been, working pretty hard, but there is no actions about it. It's not yet started. So if it's you and you're thinking, well, I had that idea that one day maybe I would perhaps start. Well, I want to share why I truly believe now is the best time to start this passion projects. We don't want to let it dormant, and how you're taking away the opportunity for people to learn more about your true self. As if I were to ask you, what about you? What do you like doing? And you've been actually working on your passion projects. Well, we want those conversations. That's what makes, genuine, authentic conversations so valuable. So why I truly believe now has never been the better time to start this passion project. Well, first I want to start with a number, and then I will go through different criteria, like why actually waiting for starting this passion project is more detrimental for you than actually starting it. So a number that I found quite fascinating is that 43% of millennials out there have a side gig. And this is in the US, and in the UK it's 2/3 of the Gen Z, so it's even younger generation, having a gig. So it's quite common to have a side project, a side hustle, or that passion project you might want to transform at some point into a gig, right? And that's what is so interesting. Is like it's getting so normalized today to have a passion project that you can transform into a side hustle, that you can transform into a business, that it's not anymore something that is so out of the box. The perseverance, the belief, the intention, the growth towards it, that is what distinguish from, hey, I'm having one gig, as I'm having a passion project, or I'm having, that creative endeavor that I want to pursue for not the next 3 months, but for the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. So with that number, I found it like, wow, well, that's not so much of an innovative idea, and it's not so much of an out of the box thing to do. And as it's been normalized, well, you don't have so much that conflict coming up. For example, let's say you have a full-time role in a corporate world and having a side project on the side. Well, that's usually what you can actually expect from the youngest generation, millennials, Gen Z, and even younger. So it's a great signal. It's a great signal for whoever is considering, oh, should I do it? It's like, well, there are a lot of people doing it already. So you're part of a big wave of crave for freedom, purpose, and meaningful work. And if you want to express yourself more creatively, well, go out there because some people are out there as well, and you can connect with that community and see how they've been exploring as well their self-expression in how they pursue creative endeavors. So that in mind, just putting a bit of the context, and it's interesting because when you read, I think it was a Forbes article that actually expressed or listed the most looked after strength in future talents. And for me, I make a direct correlation with those strengths and what having a passion project is actually delivering for you. So here I want to showcase for everyone, anyone who is considering, should I start this passion project, although it's not going to drive revenue just yet. I want to show you here how important it is to think it not only that can create that space for you to explore new creativity and things perhaps you've been wishing to do for a long time, but also it's actually proactively putting absolute value in your skills, your background, your experience, and who you are as a human being in terms of self-development that is going to help you going to the next level in other areas of your life. So that's my intention today, is after listing all those strengths or those whys, now is the best time to start this passion project. It's not to think, oh, I'm going to waste my time, I'm going to spend money, energy on an expensive hobby, but actually think the other way around, as actually doing this passion project is actively investing in myself. All right, ready for the whys, or why now we want to start this passion project? Well, the first one is creativity. That's one of the most looked after strength in future talent and the job market, right? And creativity, we need to redefine a bit what creativity is. I know when people say, oh, you're a creative person, people will always start thinking, oh, you're the creative guy, for example, in the media agency, or the one who are designing, or perhaps the videographers, right? So here, think creativity in a more wider definition, with this ability to imagine and to dream and generate new ideas. And that way, in how you redefine creativity, is pretty much how creative are you in finding solution to complex problems. And the beauty is everyone has different ways of thinking creatively, and that's the collaboration of those different ways that makes even more innovation, or creates even more, I would say, breakthrough opportunities. So what's your way to think creatively? Well, having a passion project is going to give you a lot of opportunity to discover your creativity and your creative process. And having that passion project first is going to give you the freedom to experience, right? You are the one putting the own frame of how you want to explore and perhaps trying new things. And yes, having the freedom means as well having all the goods, right? If you've been waiting for years to start this podcast, or writing your first book, and perhaps you write your first chapters, you will have that high about, yes, I'm in my creative zone, I'm finally doing something I love, and you have that self motivation going on. So freedom to experience the good, but also freedom to experience the bads. And by bads is the fears, the blocks, the resistance you might encounter as you're in that creative process. Because actually having your own passion projects, it puts you in the space of owning the entire chain of the process, from initiation, execution to delivery. You're going to stretch your thinking, and in a way that might not be available in your corporate role right now. So it's giving you more space to experience all the stages, all the different aspects of what it means to create, and you will be able to zoom out from the big picture of what you want to achieve in terms of creative project, what my book is going to be about, as well as the very day-to-day task of what it means to create. Perhaps it's having 30 minutes every day to write, and perhaps it's doing writing exercise, right? So how you're going to play with both the big picture and the everyday task, so you can manage the flow of inspiration, and that's what we crave for, as well as sometimes the resistance that comes, as you're facing yourself in your own creative process. Am I good enough, right? Do I have the discipline to follow through? All those questions, that's going to pretty much make you very familiar with the discomfort of forming ideas and putting them out there and iterate again and again. So let me say that again. Having a passion project is going to make you own the entire creative process, and by that make you very familiar with the discomfort of forming ideas, putting them out there, as well as iterate again and again. So thinking creatively is going to be huge, and usually it's hard to capture the skills of, oh, how creative I am. But to be fair, is that persistence of coming up with creative ideas and pretty much think about what could it be. And I know for me, I realized I've flexed that muscle over the years, because when starting a project in a team, in my corporate role, for example, in past roles I have, is like, yes, no problem, I can start doing some ID mapping and throwing ideas out there. And that brainstorming session when no one's want to start throwing their first ideas because they don't want to sound stupid, or just they're not sure about what they should be saying because they don't want to look bad. Well, my friend, that familiarity with that discomfort will make you be able not only to perhaps share the first thoughts that is going to ease people to share theirs as well, but also facilitate and lead in a brainstorming session. So that's something I realized, is like, I'm very now at ease in getting messy with the ideas and start and do some ID mapping on the whiteboard, throw some ideas, and perhaps it's stupid or not. It's not about that, but it's actually think creatively and iterate again and again and again. So this one is huge because, yes, we have artificial intelligence, yes, we have great technology, but that creativity is what makes you indispensable in your role today and in the future. Second why of what, the now having a passion project is huge in terms of investment in yourself and how much is being looked after in future talent, is working on gigs such as having your passion project is pretty much giving that skill set for talents to navigate the gig economy. And by that is the flexible ways of working, the flexible ways in terms of the environment, but also the future of work. another way to say it is going to turbocharge your skill sets. I mean, when you embrace multiple stream of work and activities, having your own project is going to pretty much give you the opportunity to bring a lot of outputs in your work life, and by that you will have to wear all the hats, and having a passion project is going to make you optimize how you dispatch your time between all those multiple stream of work. So here think not only in terms of what you could do in your life, but also in a very, very tangible ways. For example, time time blocking and boundaries are going to be your best friends. And having a passion project is not only going to give you the idea of what it could be, but the actual practice in experiencing, in terms of time blocking, how well you organize your time, you organize yourself, you organize your energy. So you're going to understand what prioritization is at another level, that if you were to just have one role, for example, your corporate role. And mentally, you're going to train your brain to shift gears faster and see synergies to make those work streams complementary. And that is huge, something I realized quite later down the line, that when I first started my passion projects and then side hustles and now my business, I realized, in the early years, I was very much compartmentalized everything. It's like I'm doing this, and I was that person not talking about my passion project because it wasn't ready. I was still exploring, so I was almost, dismissing the whole thing. So I try to keep things separate, but I realized by shifting gears, well, I had that muscle of better organizing myself, better understanding how long a task would actually take, how long it takes as well for me to create and to bring new ideas and to think strategically, as well as pretty much see synergies. Like, wait a minute, I've been using this platform for my passion projects. How I can do that as well in this role, or like in that project at work. So, for example, coaching. When I got qualified as a coach, I immediately put it into use, both in my corporate role as a manager, as well as in my business, as growing aspirational. So it was interesting to see how the skills, the technology, are pretty much giving you the opportunity with the passion project to increase your craft, and you're going to be able to implement those with that great flexibility. So having a passion project, I think, really gives you that practical experience. And I appreciate that everyone wants to be more flexible, or can try to be more flexible. And with the past years, especially with the ways of working, those remote ways of working have been really transforming profoundly how we experience work every day. But I truly believe that you having that passion projects and be able to shift gears and wear multiple hats, that made you so much more adaptable, that I can see why the market is seeing that as a huge strength, because it's less about how flexible you are, but it's how productive and focused you are while being flexible. And this is a big difference, I realize, because yes, you can be flexible, it's like remote, not remote, and then be hybrid, but how productive are you in that environment is then bringing down to how adaptable and remaining productive and focused you are. And that is what is going to differentiate from anybody else. And having that passion projects give you tangible experience of doing exactly that, not just being flexible, but keeping the disciplines, the framework, the systems, the mindset to remain productive and focused while you're having that flexibility. So let me know if that resonates, if there's any breakthrough as I'm sharing this. Let me know in the comments, because I appreciate what I'm sharing here is not only what I've seen from those lists and what I resonate as, oh wow, that's really what a passion project can bring to you, but also things that I realize myself in my own journey with, my own passion projects and side hustles I have in the past. And I realize, only later down the line. So my intention here is to give you the goods, give you the why now, so you don't have to wait for years to realize how much a passion project can bring you down the line. So third one, and you might want to take some notes, because this one is huge. You're not going to see that in any job spec, as you go in a corporate role, even in, sometime I would say as a solopreneur, that's not the first item you see when you think how to succeed. Well, the third why, it's now never been a better time to start a passion project for you, and how it brings you strength overall for your long game is because you're going to learn and have to learn how to look after yourself. And I was quite pleased to see that from Forbes article, that it's actually one of the key strengths the market is looking after talents today, is looking after yourself. It's, I think, with the passion project, really bring that talent of finding that sweet spot between taking care of your physical and mental health as you are growing and expanding in your career. I think this is absolutely huge, because having a passion project means that you will invest time and energy. And here we can talk about years. It could be, late evenings, weekends as well. So the question is going to be very, very quickly as you start your passion project is how sustainable is going to be for you, as you're going to have to overcome some obstacles as well, but absolutely the sustainability in terms of the energy and time, and sometimes as well money, is going to be a big question. And to be fair, it's mostly why people never start their passion project, because they don't know how to answer this question. Usually people, when I connect with people on LinkedIn, on Aspirational, on Instagram, they are asking me, like, how you do all the thing. Well, I can tell you, I didn't know the answer of that when I started. Now I know better, because I've been having passion projects for years. And the good thing is that's something I'm still learning, because there is always something I can improve and, refine. That's a process, a learning curve, I would say. And usually people got super blocked and stuck by not having that clarity from the get-go and never start. So this one is a passion project killer for sure. So being able to look after yourself is pretty much one of the great skills you can have, not only as a professional solopreneur executive in the corporate role, but as for yourself in your life. And that passion project is going to give you a lot of insights on what are your limits in terms of productivity, energy, creative process, and gives you pretty much a good knowledge of yourself inside out, so you can act on it. You can act on it and carry this knowledge not only in your passion projects but anywhere else in your life. Because think about it, when you're in your passion projects, you want to give your all. That's your passion project, right? It's not the project at work that you weren't so excited to work on, or right, or just a task at home to look after. It's your passion project. You've been self-motivated to do it. So in terms of limits, you're going to uncover a lot about yourself. And here, it's a great opportunity for you to explore with that passion project that there might be a structure, and there will be a structure that will suit you best, and understand that because you will have different, other elements of your life going on, your day job, life also, at work, socializing activity, you will have also to understand how to shape this structure in taking care of yourself based on which season of business you're at, and create the container that makes sense so it's actually sustainable. I'm going to say that again because this is huge, and that's how I answer that question, like how I'm doing all. I'm less about let's put the perfect morning routine and structure everything every minute of the day, but putting more understanding of focusing of my strategic thinking. Here I would put some strategic time in my calendar and understand which season I'm at today and where I want to be tomorrow, 2 years time, 5 years time, and what is the container that makes sense based on those goals. And when I say container, is the environment, the structure, and what do I need in terms of taking care of myself, my health, physical and mental health, to get there. And each time you want to reach the next level, you will have to learn something new to get to that season, that new season of business. And that is the beauty of it in terms of learning more about how you can look after yourself. Is each time with this passion project, you will want to reach the next level. You will learn something new about yourself, and that's a great gift of self-awareness. That's what will bring you that knowledge, that confidence in knowing yourself when people would ask you how you react in those situations. Those behavioral or situational question in interviews, because you will know yourself even more, again, inside out. And I can share here myself. I realized my limits at that time in terms of health, that when I worked on one of my first passion projects, I was working, in a media agency in my early days, and I really wanted to push it really, really hard. So I did a lot of, working late evening or late nights. I was always on like my lunch breaks, morning, like non-stop. I was pretty much obsessing about how can I use every single free time to dedicate to that passion project. So much that at some point I ended at the hospital because I was exhausted, and I found a limit here. And I found it the hard way because my body flagged it to me. It was like, this is too much, because I wasn't really listening. And I learned from that experience that I really, really, really had to take much more care of myself, listen of my body, so I can prevent to reach that level. So that's interesting, right? Because passion project can sometimes brings you to the extreme side of overdoing things. And I don't say you want to reach that limit to know about yourself, but actually here, that's why I'm sharing here. And again, type in the comments if that resonates, because usually multi-passionates, we are quite good candidates to burn out because of that exact reason of wanting to produce creative outputs quickly and a lot, because we have a lot of ideas. And being aware of how to take care of yourself from the get-go and experience that is going to give you a huge, huge amount of wisdom and self-awareness. All right, the next one. Why, starting your passion project now has never been a good time? Well, this one is going to be an obvious one, and usually that's the first one that comes to mind. as, oh, that's why I want to start, or why I like to contemplate the idea of starting a passion project, which is increasing your curiosity and nourish a continuous learning. And that's absolutely what it's been searched for and looked into talents on the market, on the job market, because that's pretty much a promise of self growth. And that brings this motivation where people say it's like, oh, I like someone who take initiative. Well, having that curiosity and wanting to have that continuous learning is going to definitely nourish that growth mindset in yours. And here, having a passion project is going to ensure you continue to learn and grow personally and professionally. And it's going to give you that insight in knowing what to focus on versus the next shiny object. That is huge, because at the moment you start committing on a passion project, yes, it can be just to explore and to check, do you like it? Do you, is that what you want to do in the next 5 years? Well, you might want to commit on it for at least the next 6 months, right? And putting the work from a concept, from an idea, to actually put the framework, the structure, the discipline, the energy for 6 months, a year, 2 year, is going to give you a tremendous amount of value in knowing, in pretty much exercising that curiosity, experiencing that continuous learning. And as you start your own projects, you will have to wear all the hats. And that's usually what multi-passionates love about having a passion project is, hey, I can do the entire creative process, as I said earlier, and you can wear all the hats and so learn so many different skills. I mean, if you think about it, you can have from content creation, copywriting, video making, podcasting, strategy, finance planning. I mean, especially if you start putting these passion projects into a business, well, you will have to wear all the hats that is required, as you will have a team, right, of people. So you're the finance person, you're the strategy person, you're the content creator person, etc. So obviously that's going to multiply the amount of skill sets, and having pretty much that learning curve going quite exponentially over the year, because you're learning by experience. And that, my friend, is just how game changer it is to have a passion project now. Because imagine the value, and here I want to slow down a second. Imagine the value of starting it now, and how much you can learn, and how much you would have learned 5 years from now. If you were to start now, how much you're going to learn in terms of skill set, self-awareness, right? All the things we shared prior, but also all the day-to-day tasks, way of thinking. You can not only learn as I'm checking video on YouTube, reading books about it, but actually implementing them. And think about this. It always surprised me why people over hesitate or why to start a passion project. Is imagine, and that's the mindset, that's the shift in the thinking I want to invite you in having. Is, don't think as wasting your time again in an expensive hobby and not having the certainty is going to play out in the next 20 years. But imagine how much of an investment it is of you in yourself for the next 2 years, 3 years, and how much that investment can pay down 10 years down the line. I mean, since I've entered the job market, so over 10 years ago, I've always have more or less a passion project I was working on over 10 years. So, I mean, I've been starting co-founding a producing charity that is called Movie Guide Me. created my own personal websites, as well as be involved in community work, and obviously today with aspirational. So imagine over 10 years, I've always have that double activities from my corporate roles as well as my passion projects. Some were side hustles. So imagine the investment in myself. It's pretty much me having been able to double my curriculum in terms of learnings. And as a professional with 10 years experience, now it feels that I have twice the experience in terms of learning opportunity. So I'm going to let thinking sinking for a second of how much again of an investment it is. And for me, it's a no-brainer. It's like regardless the how well it's going to play out, and being having the fear of other judging you whether it's going to be a success. I mean, just doing a project for 6 months or a year, and how much you're going to learn about yourself, regardless if you're going to pursue it or not, how much you're going to learn about yourself and get those skill sets, and perhaps you might use them again. It's so invaluable, and not everyone is doing that. And usually people who are judging you is because they would never try it out. They would never trust themselves enough to invest in themselves and actually start this passion project. So that's for me, if we were to wrap this up of why, that's for me how it's a no-brainer. If you start thinking as a ROI, this is multiplied probably by 10 in terms of the value of how much you're going to experience. Plus, you're doing something you love because it's a passion project. I mean, come on, that's a deal. So I'm going to wrap this up with the last one, the last why. Why I truly believe now is the best time for you to start this passion project, and also what people on the job market are looking in the talents. So here, as you can see, I try to give you no hesitation, like almost black and white. It's a winner, because not only is giving a lot to you, but also it's actually very much thought after in talents today in the job market. And the last one is managing the brand of you and network. Again, this one is not something you will see in a job spec. It's rarely something people would put as the first line of, hey, that's what I'm looking for in someone. But that's almost the untold secret, or what would make the difference between, oh, I think this is a great candidate, to we need that person. That X factor element is actually that ability to manage the brand of you and network. And having your passion projects is going to put you in a space when you will have to build relationships, growing your network, and maintaining your online and offline reputation. In other words, you will have to own your story. And here is, you might tell me, it's like, wait a minute, Laura, I'm just going to do my passion projects on the weekend by myself. I don't want to be able to have to answer to anyone. It's my free space, my safe place when I just want to explore creativity. Well, you might want to start like this from the first weeks, first month, fair enough. But what I came to realize quite early in working with multi-passionates is that common factor, which is usually that passion project that they've been having for years, that is always coming back. So it's not just a thought like this or something they would just drop in. It's because they want to have that impact in the world. And if you start thinking impact, well, it's because you have a message to spread to a tribe, to an audience, and you want to impact others. And that's the beautiful aspect of that passion project, and why it's so, calling from your soul, and why you want to explore and do more about it. So if you want to have that impact, you need to involve people in the process by just, for example, make your project known, that it actually exists. Like if you think podcast, video game, or YouTube, examples I've used, or books, they are all about spreading a message out there. They are all about an invitation to experience different ideas, different message, different entertaining ways to experience the world. So they really exist if they are experienced by others. So you will need to connect with others and to go outside of your shell. And that's the beauty. I can tell you, as an introvert myself, I discover a lot of courage and drive I never thought I had myself as I was conducting my passion projects. I went to movie premiere on stages interviewing well-known, movie critics or even directors. I would never have thought I would done, but I've done it because this is for the passion project. Like, this is for the bigger idea I want to execute here. That's for the long game I'm in, and is to cultivate that passion. And going outside your shell, well, that's what is going to create that opportunity for you to express yourself more creatively, so you can be your most real and authentic self. And that's how you want to see people, is how you want people to see you. And that is the game changer. I've known that, and this live is a great representation of that, is people will see my real self here. Not that I'm not my real self somewhere else, but usually in any passion projects I've been working in or working on is where people can experience me and my most creative and authentic self. And if you learn, think strategically, and embrace the exercise of managing the brand of you, an authentic and real brand of you, that's what is going to give the opportunity for people to experience that, to experience you, to experience the real you. And this is such a great opportunity to start profoundly genuine, caring conversations. I say that like truly, because as I've, having my passion projects, people who know me, they know me even more because they know my passion project and how I'm involved in those. And I always cherish those moments when someone is, approaching me and telling me, oh, I didn't know you were doing this. That's really cool. And that moment, just in the tone of the voice, I know they are seeing me differently. It's like, hey, there is a different aspect of you that makes you even more interesting, even more approachable, even more real. And I know that the level of connection at that moment is probably perhaps a connection, if I were not to talk about it, perhaps I would have gotten there in 10 years, who knows, right? There is that level of closeness about, oh wow, you're sharing so authentically here. You're being real. And that's where people usually start sharing their own passion project or their dormant passion projects. Like, I wish I would have started this as well. So imagine the power of having your passion projects is an invitation for everybody else to connect with your true self, your true, creative, authentic self, and inspire others. Can you imagine the power of that? The power of impact of that? And that's going to make you even more, I would say, embracing and exciting in creating that brand of you and network with others. Networking with other people you might inspire, but also connect and learn from your role model. As you want to expand and create even more value with your passion project, well, you are going to look up to your role models, your mentors, and learn from them, and that's going to create a very, very solid network. So we went through all of them. Let me know if any breakthrough came, from all the points we shared here and we discussed. I'm here wanting to bring that shift of perspective, and starting your passion project now, again, it's an investment. It's an investment in yourself. You're not wasting your time or just deluding yourself in an expensive hobby, because you turbocharge your skill set. You tune your mindset for growth, long-term growth. You develop self-awareness, and you allow your creative self-expression to pretty much develop innovative ideas, have meaningful impact, and get closer to your dream life. Because here we are starting a passion project, but who knows? Who knows? That passion project can transform into a side hustle or an actual new recurring income stream, and pretty much set up to switch your entire career. And that's the perspective I want to give you, and wrap this up with, is if you start a passion project now, think how much it can impact your career 10 years down the line, because you experienced that, you acquired the skills, the mindset, and it's never lost. I mean, you've seen, as I've been sharing a bit of what I've experienced with my own passion projects. I've started many, I stopped many, but I've always been in that place of experiencing, and I never felt, now looking back, it's like, oh, I should never have started this project, because there are so many moments when I know, oh, I've learned this when I started, for example, that passion project 8 years ago, right? So it's not a waste. And again, here is how much permission you're giving yourself to invest in yourself, your future, the impact you want to have in other, and down the line, your dream life. All right, my friend. Well, let me know if you have any questions. Again, if you're catching up with the replay, just type replays in the comment. Let me know if anything resonated here in the comment below. Tell me, what's your passion projects? I want to know, who is working on what, and if you need help starting yours, well, connect with me on Instagram at aspirational. Details will be below. And if you want more insights as you may be on the journey, well, more insights like this on how to build your personal brand you aspire, and for you to build your dream life, well, like this video, follow this account for more content like this. All right, well, in the meantime, as I like to say, be you, be brave, be aspirational.